Here we go. We made it.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
No,
I
my
went
fault,
and.
my fault.
How are you?
Good, and you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It looks beautiful there.
Yeah, it's very sunny and a very beautiful day. So we're having probably the best season. You know, autumn here is fantastic. I can't complain really.
What's the temperature?
Summer. Last
Wow.
day in the car, I was like 35 degrees Celsius.
Ooh, that's
Very
a bit
nice.
warm.
Yeah, too much maybe. We got used to it after years.
Yeah. How long have you lived there?
7 years now.
Okay.
7 years.
Beautiful.
You're welcome to visit anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
don't have rivers, but
Can you see the ocean from your house?
I live on a volcano side, so yeah, we can see the ocean, but it's like maybe a couple of kilometers distance.
Okay. Cool. What camera are you using for this?
This is my DSLR camera.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
I wired it with a cable. It works.
Yeah, I have the same setup. It's nice. Right now I'm just using my phone because my computer camera's all scratched up, but
So, sorry to wake you up so early. I would offer
no,
you
you're
coffee.
good.
I'm offering you a virtual coffee then.
Thank you. No, I woke up at 5 and went for a run, so I feel pretty awake, but
Oh man, you're very
yeah, it's
diligent.
beautiful here too. It's very dark until maybe 7 in the morning, but it's a nice time of year. It's really cool and rainy most of the time.
Where are you now?
In British Columbia.
Okay, because
but on the coast.
Because I've been reading about you, and obviously the first informations I could get is that you don't live in a house.
Yeah,
you're famous.
Right now, I'm staying. I live in other people's houses, so I'm staying at a friend's house right now, and I'll actually be heading to the Zambezi River on the 1st for maybe 2.5 months. So it'll be a big change because I love this temperature, but I don't love that the days are so short. So it'll be nice to go and get some really long days on the water soon.
Yeah,
and I'll be staying at someone's house there too.
And is it a team you're joining in, or is it just a trip you planned on your own?
I've got 2 people I'm going with at the start, and I'm kind of we're going as a group, and then they'll leave, and then the send crew, which is Brent Orton and Adrian Matern and Caleb Grady and Dane Jackson, we plan trips at the same time without knowing, so I'll be able to paddle with them. And I think there's going to be I think there will be some kayakers there this year, because Zambia is one of the countries which the borders open for tourism. So hopefully that means lots of kayakers will go, because they just haven't had any tourism there for a long time, and they need it.
So I guess you're going to document it.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited to spend enough time there to see the water come up quite high. And I don't know if I'm sure you've seen footage of the tubing wave at number 11 there.
I remember when I started paddling maybe 15 or 16 years ago. I still remember there was a famous DVD called The Black Book.
Yep.
And it was about Zambezi River, right?
Yep. Well, the Black Book is about Steve Fisher, but his history has a lot of the Zambezi weaved into it. And I thought you were going to say Wicked Liquid. But there's
no,
Wicked Liquid 1 and 2, but those are on VHS.
Look, my story started all around this little group of people, and in Italy we had a place we used to go to, you know, like the only big shop about surf kayaking, or you know, and whitewater kayaks. And so we used to go there to visit the owners, which became friends, like Nanni Puglisi or Max Boninsegni. And the place was called Gravitat Zero, G0. And it was a point, a melting point. You know, everybody was joining there, and you could meet people and watch things without buying, and see all the equipment. It was the beginning for me, so I just bought a plastic paddle at that time, and I used Playboat. And so I remember they had like a small tech with these DVDs. So we used to watch them there, but just small fragments. That's why I don't know the whole story about that.
Okay. Well, so you have seen the tubing,
but I've seen the dimensions
then.
of the waves, and
yeah,
it was impressive. You know, staying like this, staring, incredible stuff. So I wish to see you too doing that. Is it the first time you go? Is it the first time you go? No, of course.
I've been there before. Yeah, but this will be the latest in the year that I stay. So I'm really excited to see the higher water, and the rapids get a lot bigger, and to surf some big waves. I'll bring 2 kayaks with me so that I can do freestyle as well.
Yeah, about big waves, I remember reading an article you wrote about the Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls.
Yes, this article is written by you for Mountain Life Media.
Yeah.
And I love this picture here with, I will show it, with Big Papa here on the way. Is it your illustration?
No, they have an artist that's very nice that they work with, and he draws for certain he draws sometimes for their articles. So my friend Joel and I called that wave Biggie Smalls, and we don't remember why. I think it was just because that the Notorious B.I.G. movie must have come out close to when we started surfing it, or trying to surf it, but it took us a long time to actually get rides. And then unfortunately that day that I had that ride, we had to leave because they were really concerned that the dam upstream was going to break. So they evacuated the whole area. And there's days where that river was, had 1,000 CMS in the river, and we couldn't paddle there. So it was sad. But the dam didn't break. No one's houses got flooded. That was good.
Well, I think you would have taken the risk.
Oh yeah. It was. They had a lot of people there making sure that no one was getting themselves into danger by going into the river. But it's rare. That was like 100-year flooding event. So we may never get to surf that again.
Well, it depends on the as well. These things happen also with the climate change. So
yeah.
As far as I see, it may happen even sooner. Anyway,
I think it will.
Yeah.
But it's hard to. Sometimes I feel guilty hoping for something that causes damage to structures and
I know what
to
you mean.
People's lifestyles, but it is a wild river, and if the climate means that river gets up over to 1,000 CMS in a year, it means that I'm going to go try to paddle it for sure.
No, but don't feel guilty about it. I mean, you cannot say it's your fault. It's just you're going to ride the event, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just converting it in some kind of ritual of yours.
Yeah, I call it shredder's remorse, and at the time I never have it, but when I'm sitting here hoping for something like that, it feels I have shredder's remorse now, but it's for a hopeful future, not for anything else.
Of course. Well, I don't want to make this interview only about kayaking. I'm more interested in the people, and you make me very curious because you're you're in the mainstream, but without being part of it, in the sense that you're famous, but you're not acting like the famous ones. You're just on your own path and your own research. And I see that you're very into yoga, So I guess it's something you want to talk about. And this inner research is like specular to the outer one.
I've done yoga for many years, and it seems that the reasons are different from when they started to now, but yoga seems like it has the opportunities in it to have it's like a whole different sport. And I'm not sure how deep into it I'd want to go. This makes it, this is obviously we're making fun of yoga. But yeah, it's I've taken elements from yoga and brought it back into kayaking.
Why did you say yoga is a sport?
Well, it has all the opportunities that a sport has, in my opinion. You can go as deep into it as you want, and there's many different,
I agree,
where we can go kayaking in different terrain, in different valleys, different countries and different cultures. You can study many different types of yoga, and in each one you can go as deep as you want and find people with a lot of experience and learn. You can learn a lot there with your eyes closed and without moving very much. Whereas kayaking, you move a lot and you learn a lot with your eyes open. But I do yoga just to attempt to keep my body moving a certain way and within a certain comfort level.
And but you also have a program about yoga. I mean, like digital classes or online classes of yoga.
Yeah, I've done 2 online courses now, and they will continue to evolve, but it is a part of it. Like there's kayaking components, and then there's yoga components as well. So we do probably 3 yoga classes, and this last course that I did, we also did some core exercise work. And I just keep looking for the things that I think can really help people make pretty big changes to their kayaking and their comfort on the river by just starting with implementing small things like doing a little bit of yoga and working on their core strength.
Well, there is this equation that says that a stretched muscle is a strong muscle.
Yeah.
Like you squeeze it out, you squeeze all the toxic out and then put back fresh blood.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel good when I'm doing yoga consistently. So that's, yeah, right now it's not as much as normal. It should be more because it's just perfect for yoga now. It's so dark all the time and quiet. But yeah, I've been trying to get more into Ashtanga yoga. So I do that once a week. So tomorrow I get about an hour and a half of Ashtanga yoga early in the morning that I take from an instructor back in Ontario. And that's what I want to focus on this winter while I'm in Africa, is spending more time doing Ashtanga. Because it's hard. It's like a sport.
It is. I mean, that definition can be, when you say sport, some people can take it like it's just sport, so as a superficial thing, or is sport in its like the highest value of sport, which is research and knowing the self. And this is what I thought it was very interesting to talk about, because not many athletes try to also find a complementary thing or activity to what they do fundamentally or for living or as a main practice. And other things, the directly connected thing about you is also you're a promoter of good food and balance, right?
Try to be. I feel like I have more reputation there than I deserve.
I get, of course.
You're too modest. It's balance, and that's where I I have to work the hardest is to find balance for myself. But with food, I find it quite easy, depending on where I am.
Exactly. Depending on your lifestyle. I guess discipline is everything.
Yeah, and
because
I don't feel very disciplined.
Exactly, changing places and changing habits.
Yeah, but here in British Columbia, I'm on the Sunshine Coast, and there's a lot of farms here, a lot of small organic farms, so it's very easy to find good food.
Ole.
Hi.
Some coffee for you.
Yeah, it's really easy to get good vegetables and fruits. So I find it very easy to eat a certain way here. But over the next 2.5 months in Zambia, then I'll be, I'll just be eating food it's all imported from South Africa, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the food there's great, but I won't be able to eat the way that I eat here. And that's okay too. But when I can, I love to just eat fresh ingredients, as fresh as I can get. And when I'm in Ontario, where I grew up, there's a lot of farms there too. So it's not too hard to go to farmers markets and eat pretty good food most of the time. That's
a very nice thing, like eating 0 kilometers distance food.
Yeah.
And so let's make a travel in time for you. I would like to know which was the beginning of your love for kayaking. How did it start for you? Or your first memory, your first ever memory about it?
My first memory of kayaking, there's a place where I still go kayaking today. Well, each year. And it's a really amazing training ground for early spring when it's very cold. There's a rapid that's 500 meters long, and it has many channels and many holes and eddies, and I still go there. But the first time I paddled down a bit of moving water in a boat by myself was there. And I remember being scared, and my dad said that I could do it. And what he said, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it as soon as you get in the car.
Your dad?
And yeah.
He used to kayak too then?
He canoed. And before that, I'd spent a little bit of time in an eddy at a rapid where my dad and I used to canoe a lot. So I had history with the Madawaska River in Ontario for a couple years before I sat in a kayak. I would be canoeing whitewater with my dad.
What age were you?
7 maybe. But we were in canoe trips flat water since I was age 2. My first trip the first time they brought me, I was 2. So yeah, I've been in a canoe in lakes since then. And then we just slowly started being in whitewater when we'd go on trips. And it wasn't, it'd be once a year, maybe twice a year. And as I got older and started kayaking more, then my dad and I would start going on weekends. And then I'd start spending summers when I was in high school. So it moved along very slowly, but it's been a long time that I've had a relationship with the water, I guess, but never something I would have thought too much about until I was older, really.
Yeah, but it's very curious for me to know which is the process for every person. For example, I discovered surf kayaking when I was working at the beach as a lifeguard, and one of the lifeguards next to me brought off this small kayak, which was a playboat, and I didn't know such small kayaks existed. I was in my imagination, kayaks were only like sea kayaks, it's like typical image. And then he went in. It was like a wavy day, and he started doing whatever he wanted, closed inside this plastic thing. And he felt like, he looked like a Triton to me. And I said, this is the spirit of the ocean. I want to be like that. And I was very inspired. I was maybe 24 years. So I started very late. and I had to learn the Eskimo roll by myself, maybe with a little help from a friend, and then buy used stuff and try to find out what this sport was, because it was not very famous from where I come from. I'm from Rome, and in Rome, people want to surf or want to windsurf on the coastline, 20 kilometers from the main city. So as always, I always pick strange sports related to the context I'm from. And so I was wondering, maybe, did you have any experience in surfing in the ocean or paddling in the ocean?
No, never. I think I don't remember the first time that I paddled in the ocean, but I've only taken my freestyle kayak into the ocean maybe 4 times ever. And I have a surf kayak as well, and that's the same, even less. But that's to a beach break. I've never surfed a point break or something that's breaking consistently over a sandbar or a reef. Like, I've never surfed a really nice ocean wave, but I've surfed waves that are really nice for freestyle kayaking, where the ocean's just so fast and the water's so thick that you can do quite big tricks. But when I was 19,
I think the ocean moves differently, probably, and depending on the spot. If it's rocky, so you have the wave always in the same spot. If it's sandy, then it moves. It's a completely different thing. Personally, I told you when we started chatting a few time ago, I never had an experience in the river, so I'm quite. I shouldn't speak much.
Well, you should go to France, and they've got great river waves there.
Don't throw me in something too big for me now, okay?
Yeah. The thing in the ocean is that the wave is moving, and there's so much power, and the power's coming from, like, the dynamics of the wave can be, there's water coming underneath you, but the ocean, it's so cool. It feels like it's pushing you along, and you're traveling in space. Whereas on the river wave, you're not traveling anywhere. But I've found the ocean to be very fun. And then I surf at a wave called Skookumchuck, which is in the ocean, but it's a tidal rapid. So it forms as a rapid versus as a beach break. But I've paddled there a long time, but it's different. It's not.
It's similar to a river, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard about WAVESKIs?
Yeah, I have. They're very interesting. I was in South Africa maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and the waves didn't get too big enough, so we never went. But I would love to try. Do you?
I have friends there. I can put you in contact with the right people anywhere, almost anywhere.
Yeah. Do you know Joe Ray Dickens? I'll send you.
No, I don't know him.
Send you a link to him. He's out on the ocean a lot in the UK, and
maybe now he's surfing in rivers with a Hobson kayak, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So now I connected the name, because now he has a set of fins of mine from AO.
Okay.
And so he will test it in the water in the rivers, which is a curious experience for me. I want to see. I want to see how it goes.
Okay. You make fins as well?
Surf fins as well, yes. Paddles and fins.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Do you still have the paddle I sent you?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have some feedback from you. If you kept.
I'm gonna bring it to Ontario when I drive back to Ontario, Quebec, and that's when I do most of my freestyle kayaking.
Yeah, because when you have a split paddle, maybe psychologically it's not the same. You don't feel it as solid as a main one, just a one piece.
I did use it a couple times. It feels fine to me, and most of my paddles are split now.
Oh, okay.
I like them. Yeah, I use Letman paddles for all the river running, and they're all I like to have the split. I prefer it.
And so, you know why I asked you about wave skis? Because I had Pablo Arrouays, which is one of the rock stars of wave ski, and he's a good friend. And he asked me, tell him to speak about wave ski. Ask him about wave skis. And so maybe you would like to send a message to him.
Oh, I know. I love watching the things that he does and that his group do, because they can get their boats so much higher out of the water than
it's incredible
than we've been able to. And they do. I'd be curious what the impacts are like on the body. I just don't know. But yeah, one day I really hope to either connect with him in France or maybe in Hawaii or California
I wish he was online. I wish he was online right now. Try to call. No,
we can do this. We can do this again if you want. We can all three of us talk. I'd love
maybe
that.
Maybe I can put you together when you come back. When you come back from Africa.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whole different sport and environment, and I would love to go and learn from him.
Well, about flying high with the wave ski and the kayak, you have to consider weight, obviously. A wave ski is very fast, etc., but as well, it weighs maybe 5 kilos, 8 kilos, so it's quite different. Maybe a kayak with all the gear in, etc., can reach, let's say, 15 kilos, maybe 20. I don't know. Have you ever?
Yeah, I don't really weigh my freestyle boat, but it's like we wear a lot of gear, but I think it's more the shape of the hull.
Look at this. Look at this. This is you making it fly anyway.
Yeah.
Come on. Different. That's not easy at all.
No, but it's very different than what it would be cool to see Pablo surfing that wave. That's a really beautiful wave to surf. And yeah, obviously there I'm just doing downstream, a downstream move. But yeah, that's a cool wave. That's a wave I'm very excited to spend more time at.
This is your last post. This is your last post, right? And I remember reading it, which was talking about localism and your empathy about it, not your sympathy, but your empathy about it. Like, you know how it feels like to protect your own spot.
Yeah, I do and I don't. I've never protected a spot, and we certainly don't have to. And I'm glad that we don't have to, because there's not so many people trying to. Just because I posted this picture, it means people will be interested, but I don't think it means anyone else is going to be there. And I wasn't going to post anything about that wave, but not to keep people away, just to keep to build up to the content looking a certain way when we get to go back with better cameras and spend some time and really try to get some interesting footage. So I get it. There's parts of localism that, because even out here in BC, there's places where I'm really uncomfortable to go. But I understand, like, part of my discomfort is in me, and the other part of it is created by locals, and I understand it. I wouldn't do it, but I understand it.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you because probably your text was very clear. But anyway, for example, I leave it on the opposite side. When I go paddling in the ocean, locals look at me like I'm the alien and they don't want me in their spots. And so I really suffer about it, because I came to live in this island just to enjoy the ocean like everyone. And actually you realize that waves are somehow private, but at least, I don't know, it's a strange mix of what is right and what is wrong, and there are no written laws, and you have to conquer your place by time, which I don't have. So I can understand why, but sometimes the practice, the way they do it, or some of them just exaggerate So this is it. And I felt a lot of interest in what you said, because I felt that same empathy somehow.
Yeah, well, there's a wave, for example, on the Ottawa River that we use a tow rope attached to a tree to catch the wave, because otherwise you'd have to walk up the island and paddle downstream to catch the wave. But we tie a rope to a tree, you get handed the rope, and you can carve across the 10 meters of river. And be on the wave. And we used to just hike up and drop into it. And then we started having this rope system. And I remember my friend made a sign that said YGP, which was the name of a production company, like Young Gun Productions. It said YGP and locals only on the rope. And these guys were like my friends, but older than me. And I thought, oh man, I hope they think I'm a local. I hope I get to use the rope. And it was a joke, but it was also not a joke. And now when there's someone there who's never been there, I like to be working on the rope so I can help them get on the wave. But I also like to tell them that if you want to surf the wave, just walk up and drop in, because it's hard to use the rope, but it's less scary to get onto the wave. So I like to be encouraging of them surfing the wave, but the rope can help, it gets people on the wave who maybe aren't ready for it. So there's some places where I think it's important to be a part of a hierarchy and to have mentorship, where that can keep people safe or give them really good advice. And then there's places that you can't just drive to, that it takes time to figure out. And maybe the people who have figured it out have an opportunity to share that, or to keep it to themselves. And I'm lucky, because it would torment me if the sport was bigger. Like if I had 10 people asking me where that wave was, and I knew that every single one of them would be there, if I told them where it was, that would tear me up inside, because I don't feel it's my place to say yes or no. And it's a river. Like, where the river is, you just go down it and you'll find the wave. But I can make it easier for you. And
yeah, but nowadays there is Google, so you cannot erase it from the maps. Maybe you can just don't expose it. I understand. So
but I probably, if that was the case, I would have done things differently. But it's not a position I want to be in, that I have to say no because of something like that, or to say no, I'm going to keep it to myself for one more season. Or like it just selfish. And it's a conflict, because that's what I want. And luckily there's definitely more than 10 people who would love to go and surf that thing, but because of COVID or just because of other reasons, there's not going to be 10 people there. There's going to be like 5 of us.
But you say, right, 5 of us. It's like there is a group.
Yeah, and anyone who'd want to go, like even if the Unleashed crew wanted to go there, I'd help them go there. Not that they'd even need my help. Like you said, it's not, you find it the same way I did, but it's something that I'm happy I don't have to think about it more than I already do.
Understandable. And keeping talking about COVID, how did you live this last year? What are your feelings about society, about technology, about what is changing and what is not?
I mean, in general, I feel the same about COVID as I hope I would feel about any problem. That humans are really smart, and there's people who, they're like, their sport or what they spend all their time doing is learning and solving problems. So whatever problems there are will be solved, I think. And and part of that problem solving is learning to live a different way, which I think is good for people. In North America, it's obviously it's affected people in very different parts of a spectrum, but for a lot of people, it's inconvenient more than dangerous. We've got so much space here in Canada, for example, that like they're tightening down right now, and there's more restrictions, and you're not supposed to venture too far from home anymore. But I'm in the forest here. It's where I spend time is typically not around a lot of people anyway. So it makes me happy that that's how I've chosen to spend time, and the places where I go are full of nature. And yeah, like I don't have anything to complain about because I'm healthy and the people around me are healthy and my family is healthy, and they don't live in big cities, so they're not at huge amounts of risk. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but I think it's good to have a challenge too. And if you don't seek those out on your own and you wait to get challenges like this, or
I want to see the opportunities too. I want to concentrate on that, because the rest is not in my hands.
Yeah, and I was in Washington, white salmon, not far from here, kayaking as I normally am at the time of year. It was March or whatever, and I ended up going back to the Ottawa River, and I ended up in a cabin right beside the Ottawa River. So it was amazing. I had like the first 2 months or first 3 months, it was wonderful. I was right beside the river. I could hear the rapids, and I'd paddle every day, and I didn't have to go far from there. So I was in a small rural community where there wasn't many cases, and we're safe that way. And even then, we were pretty careful amongst each other, and I just paddled.
Yeah, but in the water risks are very reduced, I guess. Anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm only seeing a couple people anyway. Like I didn't see any less people than I normally would.
Very solitary.
Yeah.
We have, I still didn't upgrade in my Zoom account, so I only have 7 minutes left, and I would like to invite the only listener we have today, Jimmy, to maybe put his question, because probably I made a mess with the links. I don't know what happened, but Jimmy found me anyway. So
yeah, the link in the picture was correct. I just didn't want to type it in. I was being lazy.
Okay, that's
and the first two links were different.
The link where you clicked had another meeting ID, and this one, I think that's the reason. So I had to put this manual in the web browser.
My apologies. My apologies. I have to be more careful.
No worries. I'm here anyway.
Thanks, Jimmy.
This is motivation.
Yeah, nice to see you, Ben. I'm gonna reply to your nice email this weekend.
Yeah, cool. Good to see you too.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, since you're kind of a pro kayaker, do you ever feel the pressure to perform, or like, oh damn, I'm a role model, I can't really sit here totally drunk in the street, sort of?
Oh, I've never felt pressure to perform, and I don't do very much competition. When I've done competition, I do feel a lot of pressure, but it's internal. It's not from anything external, like a sponsorship or because of career. I do feel I've pressure to like produce, but I put that on myself. Like I really would like to be producing, especially as I get older, something more than just an Instagram video. But that's not negative. That's really positive for me. And then I've probably spent more time drunk in the street than I should have, but I can't change it. I can't change it now. I can only change how I act in the future. And I think I will end up drunk in the street again. But hopefully never in in a way that affects anyone else negatively. I haven't really affected anybody negatively, I don't think, by whatever antics I've gotten up to off of the river. But I do hope that moving forward, if anyone is, if I'm being a role model to anyone, I hope that it's the positive things that come across.
Yeah, great. I also saw your post about surf culture. That's quite different from the kayak scene.
Yeah.
I know you're a book nerd like me, so I was just gonna recommend you this one for the both of you. It's called you can't. It's so dark.
I can see it. Yes.
It's called Surf Rage. It was written.
Surf Rage.
It's written in the year 2000, so it's an old one. But the author got pretty badly beaten up at his home break, and ended up in the hospital. And then he's been interviewing other surfers and stuff about why the culture is so violent in surfing, and it's quite interesting to read.
Okay, Surf Rage. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I think there are also a few books about how to travel and search for your wave, and there are some parts which is about localism.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, I don't remember. I've seen one in a shop once, but generally this is one of the tips which is necessary when somebody goes to travel for surfing.
I think one of the points is there's a certain amount of sets in a day, and the more people that surf, the more people will compete about the same set of waves. So it's
that's a really good point, and it's something I've thought about before, especially when you're just trying to go surfing and try to get better. Like if I want to get better at surfing a kayaking wave, I've got all day, and you just wait for your turn. But when you're jockeying for position and you've got just the daylight, or maybe you only have 2 hours and there's all these people who you don't know, that's the other part that I really understand. Like if you want to go, and even on a river, if you wanted to go and get half an hour in and it takes half an hour to get 2 rides, then I think there's nothing wrong with feeling upset about that either. And then on the ocean, it's obviously different again. If you've got all these obstacles of tourists or whatever in your way, like you would probably hope that the locals who are older than you would have protected it better or something, depending on where the spot is.
Or at least try early in the morning. Many people are lazy, so you just win by circumstances. Where are you placed, Jimmy? Where are you now?
I live in Sweden.
In Sweden, yes. I was listening to your accent and I was curious. So do you kayak on rivers? Do you surf on kayak, or?
I kayak. I'm a river runner. Sort of.
River runner.
Yeah.
Okay. We have less than a minute left. I would like to thank you both for being here, and I will tell you, or you will notice on the social network where to watch the recording. And thank you so much, Benny, for being with us today. I am very honored for your presence, and I'm going to
come visit. It looks amazing there.
I'm waiting for you. You're invited.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe with Pablo. Come with Pablo.
Yeah, that sounds good. See you, Jimmy. Good to see you.
Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.